And we are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode 101. Jesus, it's still insane to have to say that. But we are live here with Stephen AceField himself, a.k.a. AceField Retro. Good evening, sir. How's it going?
What's going on, Ray? Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this conversation about remarkable wrestling. And first of all, the journey to getting to how soon is now. It's going to be a great event. Whitestone, New York, man. I just can't wait to get into it. I appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. Here we go. We're not even a minute in, and we already hit the remarkable top. Gotta love it, man. But no, thank you for joining me here. It's a little bit of a later show, but hey, everyone wants to get ready for tomorrow's festivities because it is going to be a night you guys are not going to want to miss. It is Remarkable Wrestling Presents How Soon Is Now. But before we get into that, I do have to ask you, Stephen, the question I ask everyone that comes on. And that is, you heard the name of the show. It's called Respect the Craft. So for you, when you hear that term, the craft, what does that mean for you?
Well, in terms of pro wrestling, I think pro wrestling is an art form that should be respected. And if you look at it from the terms of treating that ring as a canvas, whether it be on an independent level, WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, it should be treated with respect. And I think when we talk about wrestling, it should be done with a reverence, and it should be done with just understanding that all the hard work that goes into getting to where we are on any event, leading up to whether how soon is now, WrestleMania, it doesn't matter. Just respect the wrestlers that get in that ring and give their bodies to our entertainment.
Got you. No, definitely. And another reason I wanted to have you on as well, not to just as well with the Remarkable card, was to talk about you also are a content creator as well. You have a great podcast that you do and you're part of with everyone at Turnbuckle Tavern. So can you tell us a little bit about that? What is it that got you into wanting to join this crazy world of professional wrestling?
Well, I love pro wrestling, and for the people in my life, I'm sure they're happy that I'm out here talking with everybody online and getting it out of my system. But really started was during the pandemic, is just having a platform to discuss wrestling with this great community and the great part of the IWC. And there's a lot of bad of it, but there's a lot of good, linking up with people all over the world and talking about what we love in pro wrestling is such a beautiful thing. So, starting up the AceField Retro podcast was something that the journey was to bring some spotlight to independent wrestlers and discuss wrestling I like from the past, but also talk to some wrestlers. I've had guys like Dante Drago, Phil Cardigan, Jack Tomlinson, Desmond Cole, those guys. But over time, it kind of manifested into meeting up with the Turnbuckle guys. And I think really what we perceive as entertaining in wrestling kind of clicked. And I've been part of that crew for almost a year now. So we are putting out shows 7 days a week. So you guys can check out the podcast on YouTube. I'm a part of about 3 shows full time, but I'm all over the place. It's such a great group of guys that it's just grown. We just popped up over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. The audio is doing well, Apple and Spotify. Yeah, I appreciate that. So I love those Turnbuckle Tavern crews. We're covering everything from AEW, New Japan to the Indies, and bringing light to the independents, which is my passion, truly.
No, definitely. I love to see that, especially once I saw what the channel was doing. I'm like, this is definitely it's all the bases are covered there, which you love to see, especially with how diverse professional wrestling can be. And I love always seeing that bright light on independent wrestling because especially for wrestling, it's the genre that not only involved in as far as commentary, but just especially with the podcast. That's been my biggest goal, is sharing that respect for the craft, especially on this independent level, because there's so many young, hungry talent that have that genuine respect for what we do in this business.
Yeah, it's such a good thing. And the independent wrestling scene is so diverse too. And we just, both of us are from the Northeast. So a lot of what we see is driven in this area, but we can also speak about what's happening all over the world, whether it be on the West Coast or the Midwest. We just saw what happened on AEW Dynamite last night with an independent wrestler who got his shine from Chris Jericho. And that's just so great to see. I mean, I've been following Andretti for a while on Instagram and seeing the rub he got from Chris Jericho. It's just a beautiful thing. I mean, all the hard work and the grinding and the hours become worth it when you get that opportunity. And so many guys deserve it, but their time is coming. We just got to give them the spotlight when it comes their way.
Definitely so. And again, congratulations to Action Andretti. That was a good sight to see, especially when you see from the tri-state area, that Northeast, getting to see a guy that's been featured almost every show at CZW. You see him at PPW, and then getting that shot against, of all people, Chris Jericho. That's insane to see. And again, that shows you, though, why support your local indies, because these are the same people that one day could possibly have moments like that.
Of course. I mean, I remember back in the day going to the independents and Ring of Honor specifically. I guess you can consider that an independent. Guys like Tyler Black, guys like Kevin Steen, El Generico. These are main players in the world-renowned WWE nowadays. But back then, they were just guys wrestling where I was seeing them at Sports Plus, in front of 800 people, even less than that sometimes. It's great to see. And it just shows you that wrestling has changed so much. It doesn't have to be that muscle-bound, very superhero-driven guy. It's very relatable characters that maybe on the smaller side, you can credit guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart that paved the way. But I mean, also guys like Seth Rollins, he deserves his credit as well in the recent years.
No, definitely so. And that was another podcast I was very interested that you guys do, was talking about Ring of Honor, and just that intro grabs me because it has one of my favorites, Jimmy Jacobs, in it.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I've had on the channel. We got to get him back on here for Respect the Craft. Just his mindset is just amazing for this business. But that's one of those guys that made me have that deeper respect for the craft. No pun intended.
Yeah, Jimmy Jacobs is such an interesting guy, and he was nice enough to do the cameo. Some wrestlers aren't comfortable doing cameo for a podcast until they understand what you're doing and all that. Mm-hmm. But some of the intros we have for Turnbuckle, we got guys like FTR, Darby Allin. I mean, catch some of these guys at the conventions, they're more willing to do it in person. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Jacobs. So when we were doing it, the Ring of Honor podcast, we want to have something in front of it. I was like, let's grab him. He's on cameo. Hell yeah, let's get him on.
No, definitely a great mind there. Well, that's what I love about the independent circuit, that you get to see a lot of these guys that grow into, again, those household names, those names like a Jimmy Jacobs that was killing it on the indie circuit and now is known as one of the best minds in wrestling. You see what he's done in Impact. You see what his touch was in WWE. But again, that's why nights like tomorrow are so important, because these are the guys people are going to be talking about like that in years to come.
There's no doubt in my mind, there's so much talent on this remarkable wrestling roster that if you're sleeping on them, you should wake up and buy a ticket to the show. Check it out. They are killing it on a monthly basis. There's so much good wrestling that's happening. I mean, all over the Northeast, but I'm, remarkable wrestling, not just because I'm partial to them, because I am part of the crew doing the ring announcing, but they are every single time out there. They're giving everything. And it means a lot to them. These the championship that, Gabriel SKYE holds means a lot, holds a lot of reverence. For the short amount of time it's been in rotation, he's been the only champion. It means so much. And you can really tell that they go out there and give it their all.
Oh, definitely so. Before we get into the card here, I do have to ask, for you, how does that feel getting that opportunity to ring announce? Because it's crazy for me. Like this year, I've been involved in wrestling now for give or take 6 years now. And this is technically my rookie year as a commentator. So getting that opportunity to jump over again and share that voice, getting to help be a part of the story there, how is that for you? Because to me, it's still a crazy experience.
It's definitely a crazy experience. It's exciting. And really what I would say to people is just, if you're interested and have a passion for pro wrestling, find a way to release that in an outlet. And not everybody's going to be active in the ring. And as much as I would love eventually, or when I was, a couple years younger, to be in the ring and wrestling, it just wasn't in the cards. And giving back in a different way to the show, ring announcing with the podcast, and kind of go hand in hand. I mean, you're comfortable in front of a microphone. You can still be a character on the television show, and you are sort of the MC or the narrator for the night, and to bring the energy and get the crowd behind. It's exciting. And, you get some nerves too. I mean, tomorrow being in the ring with Juventud Guerrera, it's such an honor to pay, share that ring with him and all the places he's been, WWE, WCW, ECW, AAA, the matches this guy's had. And it's just, I treat it with respect and honor to be in that ring and share the ring with these guys, because it's truly about them. And it's really about the show they put on. I'm a small piece to it, but I take it very, very seriously. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's definitely an honor, and I don't take it lightly.
Oh, definitely saying that's still insane to me that happens tomorrow, that we get to be in the same, again, venue as Juventud Guerrera. But again, it's going to be a great night. So let's get into it here. Let's also mention this, because not only are we going to have a stacked night full of an amazing roster, Santa Claus is coming to Remarkable Wrestling.
I did make that graphic as well, my friend Ray. That's the graphic I made.
Hey, there you go. That's already, again, get the family to come, guys. Come down to Remarkable Wrestling tomorrow. Because, again, it's going to be a great night of action. It's a Friday night, but also Santa's coming. So, again, if you have those young kids that want a great action figure, come down, enjoy your time with Santa, and have a great show. But let's start getting into the card now. Let's get into this, as we're going to talk about the 6-way Riot qualifier. as it will be. Look at that star-studded roster right there. When you have Eric James, you have Nimrod Teixeira, you have Devlin Macabre, you have Chris Bishop, Dr. Redacted, and Dominic De Niro. Just looking at that lineup right there is insane. Again, this is also part of that Riot Championship tournament that's been going on, and we're almost there. We're almost at the time to crown the very first Riot champion. I'm looking forward to this tomorrow. What are your thoughts, brother? What do you think?
Yeah, this match is going to be great. Now, as all the six-way scramble matches have been absolutely amazing to watch, and the winner of this match will go on to face Kono, Adonis Stone, Sal Savelli, another to-be-determined competitor for the Riot Championship. Yeah, you can check out the tournament there. You see all the matches that were had. If you missed any of these, go back on IWTV and check them out. But there is a lot to be said. We're going to be having some clarification on who's not on that last match of Sky's the Limit to build what's going to be the finals and to crown that very coveted Riot Championship. All these guys take it seriously. A lot of names in this match alone, too. There's a lot of good talent here. What really caught my eye was Dominic De Niro. He is not only involved in this tag team tournament, but he's also involved in the six-way Riot Championship tournament. So he could have double duty at Sky's the Limit if all things go well.
Yeah, that is true. And I feel like Dom is definitely one guy that is willing to fight as many people you throw in front of him. Dom is never one to shy away from a fight. But then you also add just that twisted Dr. Redacted.
Oh, yeah.
Which I don't know what it is. I'm on his good side, hopefully. Hopefully tomorrow I'm on his good side. It was cool to me on Saturday. I'm not sure what happens tomorrow night. We're in Queens, so it's a whole different atmosphere. But it's definitely interesting to see them. They definitely have that chemistry in there, and they have that history when it comes to just going down similar roads. But then you add in Eric James, a veteran of the game. You add in Nimrod, which that's a whole just unpredictable element there. Chris Bishop, I've gotten to see just insane how he's in that ring, just the high flying ability, all that. And then you add Devlin as well. She's definitely going to add another element in there to see what's going to happen in that six-way Riot qualifier. I can't wait to see who moves on, because then you look at just who's already qualified for the finals. That's a star-studded matchup already, and we still have 2 spots to go. The winner of this matchup tomorrow, and then the next matchup that will happen at Sky's the Limit, which already features, look at the names right there. You have Mike Law, Colossal Mike Law, making his remarkable debut. You have Matt Diesel, and then unfortunately I cannot read the name there. The
Nakeem Event. Yeah, Nakeem Event making their remarkable debut as well, too. So, yeah.
Again, that's a star-studded already to see who's going to take that final spot. But again, guys, you're going to want to check out Remarkable's event. Sky's the Limit will be kicking off next year, 2023. Look at that graphic right there. Again, what a way to kick off the year. But before we get to that, we got to continue with tomorrow's event. Let's go to this. A man that's already qualified for the Riot finals here. Let's talk about Adonis Stone here going head-to-head with JD Alpha. A man that's looking to cancel people. JD Alpha taking on the perfect ratio here in Adonis Stone. And the things Stone can do in that ring, to me, are still just wild.
Yeah, I was super impressed with Stone at the Halloween event. Halloween Haunted Havoc, his win over JoJo Collins. Really good match. They both went out there and hard hitting. You can definitely tell that both these guys are young up-and-comers that really want it. They want to be the focal points of Remarkable Wrestling, and it starts here in a match like this with JD Alpha. Adonis Stone has to keep the momentum going. We've seen JD Alpha, CZW, Dojo Wars, Garden State PW, so he's had his wars elsewhere, and like you said, he wants to cancel everything except himself. He wants to make sure that he's rising to the top, and this is a huge test for him. The perfect ratio is not an easy test for anybody, and I can see this match going either way, but I'm in for I think we're in for a good treat watching these two guys go at it.
No, definitely so. And again, this is what I'm glad this isn't a prediction show, so we don't have to do any predictions here.
It's tough
just previewing anyway. Tomorrow's. It definitely is, but again, that's the best part, because it's the great thing for the crowd. It's not a predictable matchup here. That's what I love about independent wrestling. When you see matchups like this, it's so hard to predict who can possibly get the victory. And again, both men are going into this wanting that win. They want to make sure they get their momentum, because especially going into the new year, they want to make sure they keep their spot. So that's always the best thing when going into matchups like this.
Yeah, and the thing to think about with Adonis Stone is he wants to build on that momentum, like I mentioned before, and the only way to keep momentum going is by winning. Like, and I think that's by all means, and we see that Adonis Stone's willing to do whatever it takes to win a match. So whether it be not abiding by all the rules, we'll see if that comes into play here. JD Alpha is going to have to be watching out for some shenanigans going out, maybe outside the ring. The rest going to be on their best with their best observation skills. So.
Hey, this is true, but again, we'll have to wait and see for tomorrow night. But from there, let's go into another singles contest here, as it will feature a man I know very well, for another member of Kane Industries over at VPW. It's the Jawline himself, Percy Ryan, going head-to-head with a man making his names as well, Reed Walker. This is definitely going to be a little bit of a contrast of styles here, as you have Reed, who's been showing out a featured prominent role in H2O, has been making his ways now around the tri-state area. And then you have the Jawline. That's going to be interesting to see how those two go at it. And here we go. We have Jesse not too content with that graphic. Unfortunately, the intern.
I was about to say that, Jesse. I was going to support you.
His graphic got lost in the mail. I'm sorry, Jesse, but you will be there tomorrow. You'll have some things, I guess, to say to me about your graphic, but unfortunately, it got lost in the transition. But hey, the Jawline will have his intern by his side.
That is right. And this is the first match for Percy since he had his head shaved. So debuting a nice look. We saw it in the picture there. So maybe the hair, I mean, we've had a month and a half. So we'll see how nicely it's grown in. Seems like he's embracing it. So he's trying to end a few match losing streak at Remarkable. I think 2 losses against Kono. He had 1 loss in the Battle Royal at Lucharitos. So he's trying to get back to his winning ways. And it's in a big test against Reed Walker. He's had good showings at H2O. We saw him at Sean Henderson Promotion, Beyond Wrestling Open, Garden State PW. He's a guy who's been all over. So this will be a huge test for the Jawline Professional Wrestling. We'll see if he's up for it.
Hey, definitely so. And again, I feel like even though, again, unfortunately with the head shaved, he's still showing why he is the Jawline. He still has the great looks, and definitely walking into tomorrow hoping to get that momentum to end the year. And, well then, look at that. Jesse just threatening me here. He's going to give me a noogie, I guess. He's going to give me a real swirly. I'm just supposed to be the commentator tomorrow, man. I'm no issues here. No issues.
You had the both of them on your show a little while ago, right?
I did. I was nice to them on the show.
Like, yeah, you're nothing but kind to them.
I don't know. Every time I cause issues somehow in the back. I don't get it. But here we go. Let's now go from another tournament match that we talked about earlier. Let's go into this one, as we're now looking to determine another in the tag team championship tournament here, as we have the Midnight Cowboys, Liam Jacobs, Sam Hain going head to head with the Brick City Boys, Jay Cruz and Victor Chase. This is a matchup I'm definitely looking forward to, as both teams have had their words to say. They're getting ready for this contest. It's been a whole talk on social media, and just seeing what the Brick City Boys have been doing going around, especially in Wrestle Open as of lately, I know they're looking forward to holding possibly some gold going into 2023. So your thoughts on this one, brother?
Yeah, so Midnight Cowboys, the most base tag team in wrestling, Sam Hain and Liam Jacobs, as they would like to be known, the most base tag team. These are 2 guys that are hungry, and this is a huge test when the Brick City Boys are they're on a little bit of a roll here, as you mentioned. I mean, they defeated Above the Rest at Halloween Haunted Havoc to advance back in October, which is no easy feat. You can go back to that match and you can look at how it happened. It doesn't matter. The Brick City Boys got the win. So
I was going to say, at the end of the day, in that column, it says they got the win. No one ever questions what happened. It's just, hey, it's a win's a win.
It's been a little bit of a layoff for the Midnight Cowboys as well. For them to advance, the defeated Project Mayhem at Don't Bet Against Me back in August. So Brick City Boys have been a little bit more active in far as Remarkable terms goes. Midnight Cowboys, it's been a bit since they've been in front of a Remarkable audience. So we'll see if there's any rust. And, Brick City Boys, as I mentioned before, there's a huge test for them, and we'll see if they're up for it. But I think this match is going to deliver. The winner does get a bye due to Akira and Slamovich vacating their spot in the tournament, and the schmoz finished between the American Werewolves and the Scream Machines. So by my understanding, the winner will face Miracle Generation and Fight or Die at Sky's Limit. So this is a huge, huge opportunity, because if you look at I think I sent you the tournament bracket. If you take a look at that, the person pops right through, because you look at those X's there, Midnight Cowboys and Brick City Boys, the winner goes right to that spot in the
Look at that.
finals. So we'll see what they decide to do for Remarkable Wrestling, whether, it just is a shame the American Werewolves and Scream Machines got blown up that way, but that is sometimes how tournaments work out. But it benefits either the Brick City Boys or Midnight Cowboys, and they're going to have a huge opportunity at their hands to get one step closer to becoming the inaugural Remarkable Tag Team Champions, which is going to be highly touted. Someone wants it.
Hey, definitely. So, and again, that adds a whole nother element now to this contest, because now, again, it's not just any normal matchup. This isn't just, hey, we go through this, now there's another team in order to get to the finals. No, this is now win and you're going to the finals. So that's an even more just insane matchup now for both teams.
It is a huge opportunity for both, and we'll see who rises up, and maybe hopefully one of the teams, they don't fold under the pressure. And I know both these teams are up for the challenge. It's just a matter of who's able to get the upper hand on this given night here in December in Whitestone. So it's going to be exciting.
I definitely so. And here we go. We got the homie, the Big Boofa in the chat telling Jesse to shut up. See, Desmond Cole has my back, at least. Another former guest of the podcast. That's what you always love. So I can't wait to see Big Boofa in action. Well, why not? Let's talk about that matchup, because this has been one that it's one that I'm looking forward to seeing, but I kind of hate that it's happening, because you never want to see two brothers fight. You never want to see two guys that have traveled those roads up and down. They've taken towns. They've done so much together. It's the Concrete Dragon himself, Tristan Ty, taking on the Big Boofa himself, Desmond Cole. And this is going to be one that, unfortunately, I feel like these two are not walking out the same as they're walking in.
It became a grudge match. I mean, Des cost above the rest accidentally in that tag team tournament match. We mentioned it before. Brick City Boys was the beneficiary of some drama that happened between the three of them, Tristan Ty, Gabriel Skye, and Desmond Cole. Tristan then kind of put icing on the cake, returned the favor in the main event, and made it personal. So Desmond, who wanted that world championship, was robbed from it. And, he took that personally. And this match is right on paper, a singles match. It's a one fall. But I think as you mentioned, there's a lot at stake here. Bragging rights and the fact that, they want to gain the upper hand in the other and pay them back for what they did. And they both feel like they're in the right, which is challenging because these guys are super close. They were friendly, and now it's become business. And one of these guys is going to walk out victorious. And we can talk about momentum. This can be huge for whoever walks out winning.
Definitely so, because again, you can look at both of these men especially Remarkable, they are top contenders. Yeah. So who knows what this can mean, especially with Gabriel Skye's Remarkable Heavyweight Championship. This could possibly lead to a future title match. But again, like I said, it's going to be something that we're going to have to see after this matchup, how both of these even walk out of this. Because unfortunately, this has turned into that grudge match feel that I don't know if both are going to even go into this in a clean way. Because look at how even Jesse said here, we could see it tomorrow. We could see Tristan use that mist again. That poison mist might come into play. We don't know what could possibly happen, but we hope that somehow they're able to get back to the old days that we knew. But
yeah, the focal point of everything in this is the Remarkable Championship, and it all goes back to Gabriel Skye. Obviously, the finals of the tournament back at Cream of the Crop, Tristan Ty and Gabriel Skye put on a classic. Gabriel Skye came out on top, and they both walked away. They're still above the rest. They're still one of the best tag teams in all of wrestling, able to put it aside. Now we have Desmond and Gabriel Skye having that match, and they feel like they probably could have walked out the same, still friendly and still able to hold their alliance together, but it wasn't the same, and Desmond Cole feels like he's the one left out of this, and you can't help but empathize with him in his situation where, he had that opportunity for the championship, and quite frankly, he was robbed, and he wasn't able to get a fair shake, and I would love to see Desmond get his rematch because that match delivered. The live audience there was, loving that match every moment, but I would love to see it without any interference. I would love to see Desmond get his chance at Gabriel Skye again.
Definitely so. Again, not to I'm going to leave that with your opinion because I don't want to piss off Tristan Ty, especially that I have to see him tomorrow. So I'm going to say that, again, some circumstances occurred, but I definitely
not picking who's winning. I'm just saying, either guy. I mean, these guys are all justified in getting a championship match down the line. And I think Gabriel Skye's a fighting champion, willing to fight anybody. I think we've seen that and we'll go through who he's beat throughout the history of his title reign, 237 days as of tomorrow night. He'll be able to, no matter who it is, friend or foe, he's going to go out there and give his best effort. So Tristan Ty, Desmond Cole, Juventud Guerrera. It doesn't matter. Gabriel Sky's going to show up and fight.
Hey, definitely so. And again, that might be a matchup again if Gabriel Sky is able to. We're going to be talking about that later, but if he's able to retain, maybe that's a matchup that needs to happen. Maybe not just a straight up singles match. Maybe it needs to become a three-way dance. Maybe add all three elements in there just to make sure, hey, there's no interferences anymore. Everything goes in a three-way dance. But again, we'll have to wait and see. You never know. But from one grudge match, we're going into another because this is, I don't even know if you can call this truly a grudge match as more as it's become a just blood feud here. Because earlier this month, we saw a very heinous act from life-changing Joe Ocasio attacking Kono, which we thought, again, everyone was cool, everyone was friendly, and this led to a familiar face, especially if you've known the Tri-State Indies, if you've been a fan of the Queens area independent circuit, you know the Sicilian slammer himself, Fabio. And to think now Fabio's making his return to the ring tomorrow night, teaming with Kono, telling Joe Ocasio, find someone that's willing to stand by your side. And who has stepped up? None other than Dr. Sleep himself, Anthony Gangone. Now, this tag match is, I'm looking forward to this tag team matchup because this is going to be truly a fight. This is going to be something that you guys are not going to want to miss. Now, I talked to Anthony Gangone last night. I got his thought process going into this. And he's one of my best friends, but I'm worried to see what he's going to do knowing just the mentality Joe Ocasio is going into this tag team matchup tomorrow. So this is going to be a fight. Your thoughts on this one, Steven?
Yeah, this match went from just you feel good that Fabio is going to be able to get back in the ring to all of a sudden it's personal. And the interview you did with Anthony Gangone spoke a lot where he's torn. He doesn't know how to feel about this, where, these guys are all tied together, where they all feel they all know each other very, very well. But at the end of the day, Dr. Sleep's going to want to go in there and get a win. So it's going to be at the expense of Fabio. If he can focus on something that he finds as a weakness, whether it be some ring rust or whatever it may be, I have a feeling Gangone and Ocasio are going to capitalize, and justifiably so. I think it's going to be, at the end of the day, it's all about wins, as we discussed before. This match is certainly going to be interesting. I mean, Kono Capuccia, we saw the war he went in with Percy Ryan. Now we can close the book on that feud just for now. They put the final touches on it, and now we've got to kind of go somewhere else, and it feels like this is something that went from just, it's going to be a good tag match, to now it feels like, Kono has to prepare for next month's Riot qualifier, but now he has all these other personal issues tied into it. He's looking for some momentum, but he's also trying to figure out all these personal issues that have kind of cropped up, and kind of feel for this match is going to be really, really exciting.
I was going to say, I feel like Kono can't even look toward January. He can't look toward the Riot Championship match because he has, again, the life-changing Joe Ocasio, which for some reason he has this issue with Kono. He has this issue of just, again, Joe Ocasio is known as the life changer. His methods can be questionable at times. And what he's done, again, has shown success, though. He is currently holding gold, holding all the gold in Full Faith Wrestling currently with the Judgment Zone. So this is showing his results come. There's a reason why they're called the Result Zone. And again, having Anthony Gangone in his corner is definitely proven to have some results. So tomorrow, this fight, it's something to see. And again, this is not going to be for the faint at heart tomorrow. And I'm hoping for Fabio that it's a more happier return than what could possibly happen tomorrow night.
Yeah, you got to remember, though, you can hope that the Whitestone crowd really brings the noise. These two hometown boys, Kono and Fabio, right from the area. So maybe that will give them the extra edge they need to get over into the next level and feel like they can take the next step and maybe feed off the crowd and the live audience. So if you guys are there in person, you guys got to be loud. Kono and Caruso are going to be hearing you guys. Make sure you're supporting them. And Whitestone, got to show out for these guys. These are hometown boys.
Definitely, again, and that's what you got to love as well. It's that roaring Queens crowd. It's going to be an electric night tomorrow night. But this is a matchup that definitely is going to have the crowd possibly torn because, again, Anthony Gangone, Joe Ocasio, they're known as well. They're known in this area.
True.
So I can't wait to see what's going to happen when those two teams go at it. And again, seeing how Fabio's going to do in there, that ring rust does play an element. Again,
it does.
It's a scary situation as well, because even Anthony Gangone addressed it last night. It's not a secret. Unfortunately, Fabio did have to leave the business because of a life-threatening issue. So going into this matchup, there's so many thoughts that have to be going into not only Fabio's but Kono's head, and that's also going to be playing a factor in their opponents knowing, hey, there's a lot going on in this matchup.
And there's a lot to be said about, you want to talk about respecting the craft of pro wrestling. Fabio's willing to risk it all to get back in that ring for the one thing. It's the love of pro wrestling, and you got to commend that. So you have to understand that this means the world to him, and this match coming back in his hometown to team with Kono, it's a huge, huge deal. So on both sides, these guys are all taking it very, very seriously. And again, all these matches, the results are what you want, and you want to win here. So you got to find a way to do it.
No, definitely so. And I give them that. And I definitely respect Fabio stepping in there. And I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow night. But we could end it there. That could be a perfect end to the night. That's a great stacked card. But we still have one more matchup we have to touch on. And that is the main event. It is going to be for that remarkable heavyweight championship. It will be Gabriel SKYE defending against a Lucha Libre legend. It is the Juice, Juventud Guerrera, going head-to-head here with Gabriel SKYE. And the minute I saw that Juventud was announced for this show, it was just insane to me. Knowing, hey, I might be calling the action on this show. To call the action of a Juventud Guerrera match. And then not only is it just any matchup here, it is a championship match that, again, for Gabriel SKYE, I've seen what he's posted. For him, this is definitely a dream matchup here. And just knowing the styles of both of these men, tomorrow this is going to be magic, truly, in that ring. So
yeah, you mentioned dream match for everyone involved, fans and Gabriel SKYE alike, to watch this, and it's going to be magical, as you mentioned. Those are the words I had in my mind popping around. Gabriel SKYE is heavily influenced by Juventud Guerrera. You can watch it. I edited a video a couple months ago, or maybe about a month ago, where I put How Soon Is Now by the Smiths on there, and I had just video clips of both of them and just how similar some of the moveset are. And you could see how influenced Gabriel SKYE is. Seeing them lock up is going to be huge. We think about Juventud's credentials and go down the list, speaks for himself. Former WCW Tag Team Champion with Rey Mysterio, WCW and WWE Cruiserweight Champion. But he's also been pretty active here in 2022. He laid dormant for a little bit, but he seems like he's back in the ring a little bit in really, really good shape, looking to collect more gold. He wants to add more to his historical legacy. And I think at this point, Juventud's a huge threat to take that championship. So I'm really, really looking forward to see the test that gets put up. And we'll talk about Gabriel SKYE and what he's done in this run as champion. He's put that championship on the map, defending it not in just remarkable wrestling, but across promotions in different states, and taking that title on the remarkable banner and flying it proudly. So this is another huge test for Gabriel SKYE. And, it's at this point, it's one of those matches that you have to sit back and watch and enjoy. It's the magic of pro wrestling.
No, definitely is. And I can't wait to see, because again, you look at, especially me, I've gone to see Gabriel SKYE almost from just that start, seeing from his training to now, and see just that growth of not only a competitor, but as a person, to see all this collide tomorrow night, seeing this and an opportunity so grand, and again, to prove why he is the remarkable champion. It's truly going to be a sight to see, and I can't wait.
So this will mark Gabe's 237th day as remarkable champion. So just to put some of the names, and I know a lot of you guys are familiar with the names that he's wrestled, but I think it's very important for us to put it out there in the universe. Tristan Ty, Cream of the Crop, is who he beat to take the title. You could name names like Stephen Wolf, who he wrestled at Wrestle Rave, presents the Death Triad. Robert Martyr at IFC's Hell Let Loose. Davey Richards at Danger Zone. Akira at Space is the Place. Jordan Oliver at Don't Bet Against Me. And of course, we alluded to that great match with Desmond Cole at Halloween Haunted Havoc. All these guys that are coming and gunning for Gabriel SKYE just has made him stronger. And, now you have another huge, huge threat to that championship. Juventud Guerrera, it's like I know he grew up a fan, but at that point, you got to put it aside and be like, I'm face to face with this guy, and he's a threat to take what is the most important thing to me. It's the remarkable heavyweight championship.
No, definitely so. And again, you look at that list of names. I can imagine, especially when he went in there with Davey Richards, that's a name right there that, hey, I can imagine as well. He grew up a fan of that. But there's a time to now show I want to prove I'm not only a fan of your work, a student of your work, but we're now equals in that ring. And I can imagine that's what Gabe's looking to prove tomorrow to Juventud Guerrera, that he can stand toe-to-toe with a legend like that. And I can't wait to see what happens when that last ring bell is done. Who will be walking out champion?
Yeah, and you look back, and the thing you have to consider is that Juvi's been active in the U.S. since June. I mean, he was back in Philly at the Expo Lucha at the old ECW Arena, XPW, SPW in August, which is in California. He was also wrestling in Texas in October in that triple threat with Brian Cage and Berlante RB. And then he was back in California earlier this month. So he was wrestling, I think it was December 10th against Willie Mack at XPW. So he's been really, really active. So he's tuning up and getting ready for this challenger, Gabriel Skye. He's not coming in with ring rust. And he's the youngest 48-year-old that I've ever seen in my life. He's going out there. He looks the same exact Juventud Guerrera that we've been used to watching growing up. So it's going to be magic, man, in Queens. If you guys are in the area and you're not at the what are you doing? Get a ticket. Go to the link tree right now in my bio or AceField Retro. Go to Remarkable Wrestling. Buy a ticket. Buy a ticket now. Don't wait. Don't wait. You want to make sure you get in the door and check this show out because it's going to be a great night of pro wrestling.
Definitely so. Again, guys, the link's also going to be in the description down below. Get your tickets. Again, if we haven't sold you enough on this card, I don't know what will. Because again, you have a stacked card top to bottom. But also, hey, Santa Claus is going to be there. If Santa's coming down to Queens, why aren't you coming to see a great night of action? And again, that main event alone is truly going to be the talk of the weekend. So you're going to want to be here, see Juventud Guerrera in action. Think about it. The last 2 years alone for Juventud have been insane because we got to see him truly showcasing that he can still go at that elite level. He was one wrestling Chris Jericho not too long ago.
Right.
So again, it's showing Juventud Guerrera is at almost, if not even better, the rate he was back in the day. I can't wait to see what he brings tomorrow to Remarkable against Gabriel Skye for that Remarkable Heavyweight Championship.
He also has the benefit of what he's learned over time too. So that's the other thing. He's wiser over time, and he has the skill set and the ability to, maybe be one step ahead of Gabriel Skye. And I think Gabriel has to keep that in consideration here in this match, that everything that he knew from Juventud Guerrera studying tape, Juvi may be coming with something different. So it should be interesting to see the strategy from the first bell and to see where they go. Is it going to be a ground-based match in the beginning, or are they going to go straight to the high-flying moves? Maybe Gabe's going to go for some of those suplexes and try to ground Juvi. It's going to be very interesting to see what the strategy is, and it's going to be important to establish it. Maybe keep Juvi on the mat to make sure he's not getting ahead of you and trying to catch you off guard. So it's definitely going to be a test for both these guys.
Definitely, again, that experience factor is going to play a factor in there. But also, I can imagine Juvi's doing his research. He knows, again, he has to do his study. He's a student of the game as well. Even with his tenure in the business, he's studying. I can imagine he's watching possibly these previous Remarkable title matches to make sure he's ready going in there, that there's no surprises. Because even though Gabe is still young in the game, he has some tricks of his own, especially with who has trained him in this business.
Even the past couple of months for Gabriel Skye too. You can even talk about the last couple of weekends that he's been out there. You can even go back to New Fear City last weekend with against Ali Catch, and just, man. So, the tests that just keep rolling his way, he's able to shrug them off and give his best effort. So as we talk about Juvi toning up and keeping fresh and getting ready for this big match, Gabriel Skye's been doing the same thing. So they're both coming in at 100% and making sure that they're going to give the audience in Whitestone the best show that you can possibly get. So again, if you don't have a ticket, what are you doing? Buy a ticket now and don't wait to get to the door. You don't want to risk it. Buy it in advance.
Definitely. So again, these are the type of shows that people might get turned away because it might be that much of a sellout. Again, get your tickets, especially that is going to be the last chance to get some wrestling like this in Queens for 2022. Again, next year, it's going to be back at the NYWC arena there. So definitely get your tickets now for this event. Be there. Come watch a great show and start your weekend off. Again, it's a Friday night. why not get some great wrestling in there? But Steve, before I let you go, brother, I want to make sure I know you're a busy guy. And also, it is pretty late. We got to get ready for this show tomorrow. I have to ask you the last question I ask everyone that comes on, and that is for Stephen AceField himself and AceField Retro, what is the end goal?
The end goal is to enjoy pro wrestling on its finest, and wherever the journey takes you, the journey takes you. There's no end goal in sight. I just love putting out content on a sometimes daily basis with Turnbuckle Tavern, and it's grown exponentially in the past year. I've been involved in that project, and we have such a great eclectic amount of minds in there from all over the world. Really, we got Nick Storm was from Australia. We got guys in Chicago. The Two Bad Chads are from West Virginia. We got Hawk, who's from Indiana. There's guys all over the place. So, and it's such a different perspective for wrestling. So I guess the goal for AceField Retro is just to enjoy wrestling and continue the fandom and find the bright side and perspective of what wrestling brings everybody and stop the negativity, bring the positivity of pro wrestling and just enjoy it. We saw that shirt a couple months ago with the fan in the front row. I think it was an AEW show. Says just enjoy wrestling. Really, that's words to live by. Just enjoy the wrestling.
All right, there you go. That's a statement I can definitely agree with. And again, bringing that positivity is definitely something I could salute as well. So thank you again for doing that as well. And thank you for the content you put out. Again, it's great to see fellow content creators that are willing to shed that positive light and add that to the community. Because again, we can be real with it that there is a lot of great content out there, but there is a lot of that negativity that maybe isn't needed in this business as well. Because again, enjoy wrestling. Enjoy what we loved, especially as kids till now. Why do we have to spew just that negativity out there?
Yeah, so make sure you guys check out Turnbuckle Tavern, especially Shot Nostalgia. We're doing ECW 1995 right now, the event that's coming up tomorrow. Watch it on demand because I want you to be in person for How Soon Is Now. We just finished recording it. It's Enter Sandman, main evented by a double dog collar match, actually. Again, Public Enemy taking on the Pitbull. So serendipity, the only other tag team double dog collar match ever in history, aside from FTR Briscoe's, happened in the match that we're covering. Just happened that way. We didn't plan it that way. It just happened, which was a beautiful thing.
Hey, that's perfect right there.
So we're finishing up ECW 1995 in a few episodes. Right now, we're like in June. We finished. You can go back and watch in the catalog WCW 1996. We covered that in full every Nitro, all the newsletter. We talked through everything that happened on pay-per-view. So check that out as well. We also do the AEW wrap-up show on a weekly basis, covering everything happening on AEW in a reactionary form. We also have Honor Society, as you referenced before, when Ring of Honor has a weekly TV deal. We're going to be covering that directly following the Ring of Honor TV show. So I'll be on that with Colton, who's new to the tavern as well. So it's going to be awesome to see his perspective on ROH. But like I said, just go to turnbuckletavern.com and check out all the stuff we have there. And also follow me at AceField Retro. That's where most of my content lives. Always posting news and all that kind of stuff. And also go back and check out the visits to tavern. I interviewed guys like Desmond Cole, the Slime Balls from NYWC were on there as recent, which was a great interview. Joey Conway from NYWC, the current Fusion champion. So he was a great conversation to have, up and comer that everybody should be watching in 2023, as are all of them. Jack Tomlinson was on there, Phil Cardigan. I'm trying to think of other guys that have been interviewed, but love bringing the attention to a lot of the talent on the independents that don't have the spotlight usually in telling their stories, because when you listen to the stories and the passion of pro wrestling, it just inspires you to just have further conversations and maybe dive deeper into different promotions that you weren't really planning to. IWTV gives you that platform, but you can also, find different wrestling that lives around you. Support your local indies if you're not in the Northeast and you can't come to Remarkable Wrestling. Find your local indie and check them out, because that's where good wrestling and the passion of wrestling lives. And that's where the future of wrestling comes from. And people need to understand that.
Definitely so, and I can agree with all that, guys. Again, go check them out. Go check out AceField Retro and Turnbuckle Tavern. All the links will be in the description down below. But again, go follow them on social media as well. Go follow AceField Retro right there. And again, go follow Remarkable Wrestling as well on their social medias. As again, going into 2023, you're going to want to stay up to date with all things Remarkable, especially as we get closer to their next event. That, if you haven't heard already, will be this Sky is the Limit. So you're going to want to be there for that next event as well. But before we get to that, before we get to January, be there tomorrow. How Soon Is Now? You'll see both of us there and an amazing night of action. Thank you so much, Stephen, for joining me here. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you enjoyed as well.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was great digitally meeting you here, and I know I think we saw each other at VPW in passing.
Yeah.
We were both busy guys doing some stuff, but can't wait to see you tomorrow for a big day of wrestling, and we both get to be a part of the show, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely. I'll be a lot nicer tomorrow. Unfortunately, at VPW, I'm the intern with Kane Industries, so I'm not as nice on those days. So sorry about that.
I know. I hear you. You know what? I was representing the tavern. I was giving out stickers, giving out keychains. So it was all business anyway. So I understand, Ray. It's all good.
Definitely. But everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us again. We'll see you tomorrow at Remarkable Wrestling. But as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.